Don't let one bad leg haunt your parlay. Parlays turn into payouts, and now even near misses won't haunt your bet. The NFL season is here, and DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NFL, is rewriting the rules with Ghost Leg, a new game-changing promotion that turns close calls into cold, hard cash. Best of all, it's available to all DraftKings customers. Here's how it works. Build any 3+ leg pregame NFL parlay on Sunday, apply your Ghost Leg token, and if one leg loses, DraftKings makes it vanish like it never existed and pays you out in cash for the rest. Last season, over 30 million parlays were lost by a single leg. This year, Ghost Leg gives those busted bets a second life. No more busted parlays that haunt you all season. With Ghost Leg, the bad leg vanishes. The payout doesn't. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app and use code PFF. That's code PFF to unlock Ghost Leg, the promotion that makes one bad leg disappear and pays you out in real cash. Ghost your losses, get your payout in partnership with DraftKings Sportsbook. The crown is yours.
49ers and Seahawks. What a thrilling game this was. San Francisco wins this game in Seattle, 17-13. Top 5 graded players that we had for the San Francisco 49ers. Tight end Jake Tongas. Look at that. 84.5 catching the game-winning touchdown. Didn't think I'd say that name. Edge rusher Nick Bosa with an 82.5. He was absolutely dominant down the stretch, especially in the fourth quarter and those last couple of drives there. Wide receiver Ricky Pearsall with a 77.2. Linebacker D. Winters with a 76.7. Offensive guard Ben Barch with a 73.7. Brock Purdy in this game a 69.4 on Seattle side of things. Cornerback Josh Jobe with an 89.8, highest graded player in this game. Offensive tackle Charles Cross with a 79.7, a good, honestly, like a pretty good score, knowing that he went up against Nick Bosa a handful of times. Linebacker Ernest Jones with a 78.7. Wide receiver Jackson Smith and Jigba with a 76.1. Defensive tackle Leonard Williams a 70.2. And Sam Darnold in this game, an 82.6 overall grade. Dalton, South told the story here.
Pretty simple, actually. I think we, in the preview I talked about, okay, does Seattle have a good opportunity to run the football, considering San Fran's youth on defense and their lack of run defense last year, the 5th worst run defense grade in football? They weren't able to do it. They didn't have any explosive runs, 3.2 yards per carry, only 2 missed tackles forced by Zach Charbonnet, and because of that, they just never got in the groove of the layers of Clint Kubiak's offense. They didn't have time. They only had the ball for 22 minutes. Everything was just stagnant for Seattle's offense because they couldn't run the football. And yeah, you're breaking in a young interior offensive line. Abe Lucas is healthy, and he gets the tough matchup against Bosa most of the time on that side. But this Seattle team is going to have a hard time winning if they don't run the football well. It's the base of this Clint Kubiak offense. Didn't happen in this game. The Niners' run defense stepped up. Fred Warner, as always, was really good. That's not news to us. Nick Bosa obviously was great and had the closing play, with forcing the fumble of Sam Darnold at the end. But at the end of the day, Seattle, Clint Kubiak, the base of this offense is the wide zone run game. Never got to it.
Yeah. I think a lot of people are going to they're going to get on like Sam Darnold's grade. They're going to be like, how are you giving Sam Darnold? How is he getting like an 82.6? Remember, guys, it's not like a PFF grade isn't, how close did you get to passing for 400 yards and 4 touchdowns in a day. Like, it's about doing the job that is asked of you and the best that we can interpret it and how well and how efficient you were in doing that. He had 28 total dropbacks. He had 16 completions on 25 attempts. He had 150 passing yards, but he did not have a turnover-worthy play in this game. His average time to throw was below 2.5. It was 2.38. So, he was very quickly getting the ball out of his hands. So, because of that, there weren't a lot of pressures that were on him. He wasn't taking a lot of unnecessary hits or sacks and things like that, which obviously goes into playing things well. And he wasn't just, the average depth of target, 8.8. Okay, it's not like the highest. We're not in the double digits, but like 8.8 is not horrendous. When you look at some of the other statistics as well, it's not like he was just this giant check down Charlie. When it came to throwing past the sticks, he threw past the sticks 48% of the time, so about 50% of the time. That's not terrible. And when it came to air yards, 68% of his yards came through air yards, so he's doing that with his arm. His adjusted completion percentage was over 70%. It was 70.8. So, did Darnold light the world on fire? No, but he didn't make mistakes, and he made a couple of big plays. He had one big-time throw to one turnover-worthy play. So that's how we get to the grade. I know a lot of you guys, like, you question the grades of quarterbacking and things like that when it comes to versus the common stats, but, like, that's how we get there with Sam Darnold. Sam Darnold didn't really do anything. And when you look at the last play that ended the game, I mean, he's winding up to throw the ball, to throw to a receiver that is open, if I'm remembering this correctly, and he hits the back of Abe Lucas because Abe Lucas just got bull rushed straight into his lap by Nick Bosa. That's not on Sam Darnold. Why would we ding Sam Darnold for that? So he didn't have a turnover-worthy play. He had a big-time throw. He didn't have a lot of opportunities, or he wasn't asked to, hold on to the ball forever and chuck the ball deep down the field. But even for being as conservative a game plan, like, he was throwing it where he needed to go. And he did enough for Seattle to win this game, given the script that it was and how it played out. So, again, I know a lot of you guys, you ask about quarterbacks and grading all the time, but that's just a little look into sort of like how we got to the Sam Darnold grade and sort of how we got to that point with him. But I think that overall, you've talked about the run game with this team and just not being explosive enough. They had 4 drives in this game with 4 plays or less. Like, it's just we've got to sustain things a little bit more here. And ultimately, I think that this was the Seahawks game to lose, and they did end up losing it. You look at how many players were out for the San Francisco 49ers, how many guys got injured during the game, and it just felt like that was the game where they gave up the explosives, and they didn't really have a lot themselves. So where Sam Darnold grades out well, this might be a little bit of the Kirk Cousins thing, right? People got mad at PFF when Kirk Cousins was grading out very well, but he wasn't necessarily pushing the ball down the field the way that the Vikings needed to for him to win that game. But sometimes their offense just wasn't necessarily designed to do that. And I think that today they kind of wanted to warm Sam Darnold up to it a little bit. He has a high PFF passing grade. In the end, they didn't score enough points to win the game. But they played well enough to win the game.
They were in the red zone to end it. They were about to. And Bosa made a play that superstars make.
They could have very well gotten to that point. And so, like, okay, like, what if they rush for a touchdown, right? What if they get to that point? Let's say Abe Lucas holds up a little bit better. Sam Darnold checks the ball down. I don't remember what down it was, but, like, let's just say that drive ends with a rushing touchdown. Seattle wins the game.
Then he's hailed as a hero.
I don't think that people bat an eye at his PFF grade.
No.
And the reality is that, like, his grade shouldn't change for the results of the game. And in reality, we would just look back at it and we go, did you see that throw to Jackson Smith and Jigba up the sideline? That's what we would remember. Well, that part still happened. And the turnover to end the game, obviously, I just don't think was his fault. So I'm not trying to, like, make all these excuses for Sam Darnold, but, like, everything is we try to contextualize everything. We try to grade every single player, every single play, every single game. Like, that's what our motto is here. And, like, that's how we get to the conclusion of Sam Darnold's passing grade. So I didn't plan on going on that tangent, but I know that people are probably going to ask about it because he's one of the higher graded quarterbacks, and they lost, and they only scored 13 points.
It's the constant battle, whether it's within PFF or not. Anybody talking football, it's the constant battle of, is it all the quarterback's fault or is it all the credit he's getting? Well, no. That's not how this works, right? Like, yeah, Abe Lucas on that play didn't quite do his job, right? Or they didn't run the ball well enough. And it's all the stuff even coaches talk about. You go, as a team, that's how it works. It's very rare that one guy either wins you or costs you a game, right? I think even for as much as we talk about the most valuable guys like the Joe Burrows and Lamar Jacksons and Josh Allens and those guys, where it's like it might feel like a one-man show because they're the quarterback, but that's not the case. And here, again, all the way around. And Seattle, very, very late in this game, had a 13-10 lead. And Mike McDonald, as his defensive coach, is probably going to go, man, we had a couple shots to make a stop there, right? So
and Brock Purdy's an absolute madman for even attempting that pass at Jake Tongas.
Well, of course.
He's an absolute madman. Tariq Woolen is standing right there, and I think you can actually see Tariq Woolen not even believe that the ball is coming his way.
Yeah.
And he couldn't believe it so much. They ended up not even making a play on the ball.
Yeah.
Anyways, go ahead. Most impressive, most disappointing.
This game was a grind. I'm going to give it to, first of all, the 49ers starting tight end George Kittle, who got off to a great start in this game with a touchdown.
Right.
And got injured his hamstring, and we will see where that goes from here. But then you mentioned, I'll be honest, I'm in the boat. I had never heard of Jake Tongas before yesterday. Nope. I never heard of him. I had no idea who. I thought it was still Ross Dwelly on this team or somebody else playing this Kittle's, because how often do you know Kittle's backup tight end?
Rarely.
Exactly. And
Rarely.
they didn't even have, I don't think they had Kyle Juszczyk. Did they have Kyle
Yeah, they
Juszczyk
did.
in
They
this
did.
game?
He played.
Okay.
He played.
I mean, and then Tunjas comes in there. And he catches the game-winning touchdown. He has a 70 run-blocking grade, which is really good for a tight end. And all of a sudden, he's just a core component of this offense. And I'll be honest with you, I'd never heard of him before getting on the field in this game.
Well,
and
PFF doesn't know ball.
Kyle Shanahan sure does. Man, oh man! I mean, he could just find anybody and score points with them, huh? I mean, and some other positives for the Niners. Christian McCaffrey looked really good, especially in the passing game. Ricky Pearsall with a 100-yard day, that helps with all their wide receiver injuries. So, look, the Niners, they got a lot of injuries. They're scratching and clawing. They found a way to win this one by the skin of their teeth, maybe. But like some other games we have here, they're 1-0, and that's okay.
Who do I have in mind? Oh, most impressive was Nick Bosa. I mean, just down the stretch, he was unbelievable.
Yeah.
Fourth quarter specifically, 92.1 pass rush grade. Obviously, it has the play that seals it for him, getting the fumble by using Sam Darnold's right tackle to force the fumble. It's just pretty incredible. I mean, he's one of the best defensive players in the world. Most disappointing was Reek Woolen, in my opinion. 34.9 coverage grade in this past game. I told you he gave up the touchdown there in the corner of the end zone. He gave up 3 catches at 73 yards total. It just feels like he is just so boomer bust as a corner. You go back throughout his career, and it's just like some grades. There are some games he has an elite coverage grade, and other games it's a 34.5 or something like that, or like whatever it is. So this was a valley Tariq Woolen game, and that was obviously very tough for the Seattle Seahawks to overcome. Anything else before we get out of here?
Nope. The Seattle just needs to find somebody other than Jackson Smith and Jigba they can throw the ball to, because he had 124 and the rest of the team had 26.
Right.
And if you have only one weapon on offense, you're going to have an issue.
Yeah. Yep. I said get out of here, but I meant for that game, because we still have 3 more that we're talking about. In the next